Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Paragon Guide. I am Sylphin, and in this beginner's guide, we are taking a look at the skills, abilities, strategies, and starter decks for Muriel. I am so glad to be doing this starter guide for Muriel, simply because she is my favorite hero in the game. So the very first deck that you want to get, open up your selected deck screen and go for starter deck support energy damage. If you are going Muriel, she is the best, in my opinion, as a support. So simply select this deck and hit confirm. Make sure that you toggle off these suggestions so that you are looking at all of the cards available to us. It just so happens that we are indeed going to start off with what they do suggest, with a health potion, a mana potion, and a scout's ward. Now head off across the map, but first take a look at the map. You're going to have to try to decide who you want to lane with, and Gideon is really good in a lane by himself, so I'm going to go over here and help this Murdoch. So, ladies and gentlemen, Muriel is a support hero. She doesn't heal her allies like she actually used to with her shields, but instead she uses her shields to obviously protect her allies against enemy damage. So the very first ability that we're going to use is her E ability, Consecrated Ground. It's an AoE that gives a 100-point shield to allies and deals 60 energy damage to the enemy. Now, the damage occurs after the ability pops. Just like that, you saw that I used the ability on the ground there, and it did damage after the bubble pops. So it is a bit tricky to land the damage portion of the shield, but honestly, you preferably would not want to be using it as a damage. As you saw there, I put it right on top of that Grux. He got that 100-point shield and just mitigated that much damage. Definitely your go-to build for a large AoE shielding in the game. So obviously right here at the beginning, I'm going to shield that Grux once again, trying to, there we go, and there is that Decker. So the shielding is obviously something you have to take into account in the future, trying to foresee when that damage is going to occur and trying to shield your teammates before they take that damage. The second ability we're going to go for is her right click called Alacrity. It gives a 60-point shield and 110 max movement speeds to friendly heroes. It's a very, very cool ability because it actually, you throw out an orb, just like this. That is Alacrity, and once you can actually move in and get it yourself, and there you see the max movement speed bonus. It's a great ability that takes some getting used to, as you have to hit the ability with accuracy, and you also have to, throw it out across the range. So you can of course use it on yourself. You just simply look straight down, throw it out, and it automatically goes onto you. But you can, of course, use it on friendly heroes. It doesn't do anything to enemies. Now, the last ability we went for, that you saw me use just once there, is her Q. It's her Serenity ability. It deals 75 damage, so it's it's an okay amount. Definitely something that you could perhaps use to, snipe a running enemy. That's definitely not what the primary focus is. It's just a long-range poke. So like this, you can see that it has a fairly long range, and I can use it to poke down the enemy if you have good accuracy. So it's also, however, the more important part, it applies a 100 max movement speed slow for 4 seconds. It is a fantastic ability for you to use to slow the enemy, to really ensure that your team gets a kill. Oh, hello, Howitzer. I'm going to use my right click here to use my speed to get away from him. Why I was going down there, however, See, I'm going to try to shield our Gideon. I'm going to use our right click here to slow that howitzer. I'm actually going to be fairly aggressive just because I know that I can use my shields on myself. That's exactly what I'm going to do here. Oh, but I have low mana. That is the crux here with howitzer, or sorry, with Muriel, is that once you run out of mana, you pretty much are useless. We got our Scout Sword for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Put it right here at the tip of this shadow pad, and what that does is it actually makes it go invisible. When you're in the shadow pad, you are invisible, and when this Scout Sword is in the shadow pad, it also becomes invisible. Another option that you can do is you can have it out ready to deploy and jump across this and place it right on top there. It eliminates melee heroes from being able to destroy it, but ranged heroes can. And in my experience, only really good players will actually go down into the shadow pad and look for it. So more often than not, actually leaving the Scout Sword in the shadow pad is good enough. Now the first ability the first card we want is this Lord's Ward, ladies and gentlemen. Why do we want that? We're going to replace our Scout Sword simply because it has a better ward type. It has shadow wards. We will talk about that later. But take a look at this card. It does not have a fully upgraded bonus, so we won't actually be upgrading it just yet, but instead going for our second card that does have a fully upgraded bonus. Sorry, it's the third card. But it does have two things very important. Is it has mana, which is something we definitely need, but also a very unique passive. It heals our allies for 4.2 health per second. So it has both the things that we need. Mana here in the early game. Casters do have an issue with mana in the early game, and that passive, as long as we can stay in the fights with our allies, we will be able to heal them. So here we are defending this lane simply because, well, no allies are here to do anything. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run this Decker down. I'm going to place my Alacrity in advance, try to get this Decker, but we simply don't do enough damage. The health and mana potions are very, very, very useful for us here in the early game. As you can see, we can use a lot of mana very quickly. Going to shield ourselves from this Feng Mao. Very nice ultimate by the Gideon. That Feng Mao is... As you can see, the shields are very, very important. You really, really need to use them well. We have Muriel's ultimate, a very, very powerful ultimate that is one of, in my opinion, one of the coolest, one of the most enjoyable, one of the most game-changing ultimates currently in the game. It is called Reversal of Fortune. It's an amazing ability. You fly across the map, giving them 350 shield and knocking up all nearby enemy heroes. It's a very, 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 very cool ability that you can use to great effect when you are all the way across the map. You can pretty much instantly, it takes a second or two to fly across the map to your ally, but it is absolutely incredible. What this enables Muriel to do is things like this, just gently, poke at these towers, be in a different place across the map, but all of a sudden, with very little notice, with a very quick timing, you can do something like this and turn the tide of a 1v1 just like this and go all the way over here to this lane and protect this lane from this attack here. If that Grux head stayed, if he was a little bit more aware that I was coming, we definitely could have taken out that howitzer before he got to his tower. An amazing ability, something that makes you have to watch the map here, look across the map, watch your mini-map for any kind of opportunities for you to change the course of a battle here. So, this rampage is coming in. I'm going to have to use my reversal, or my Alacrity, sorry, to try to get away. They're trying to go over for this Richter, but they should have just focused on me. The mana potion, absolutely, absolutely very, much needed here in the early game. So definitely that is a must for sure. Now, one thing you should notice with the upgraded Shadow Wards went from our Lord's Ward here, from this card here, is that they actually go invisible when you place them on the map. So take a look here, and it goes invisible, and you have 2 of them. That vision that you can create as a support player can totally change the outcome of an engagement and even the match. If you can save an ally just by giving him a vision of an incoming enemy, that is huge. So we're gonna first upgrade this circlet of health here for all of this mana that we really need. We're going to get 3 here, this advanced mana, this 2 mana, come across here and get this chrono. That cooldown reduction is going to absolutely amplify our usefulness here in this game, simply because if I can use this, here we go, we're going to go in on our friendly Gideon, trying to take out this howitzer. Let's see if we knocked him up. I'm going to actually slow him down here, give this Gideon a shield, and there we go, able to secure a kill there on that howitzer, using that global map presence that Muriel has. So I'm actually going to shield. Oh, I'm going to actually get into this teleport, but it doesn't look like I can use it. And I'm going to use my shield here. This Decker's down. I'm going to get the last hit on that Grim with our Serenity. What an engagement! As you can see, 2v3 that we completely dominate. Being able to support my Gideon, give him that shield, that movement speed. For myself to try to get out of that Decker ultimate, wasn't able to before, but that Serenity, our Q, being able to secure the kill there on that Grim, very nice engagement. As you can see, she is absolutely a very strong hero that can really change the course of a match. So in terms of skill priority, we definitely want to go with our E, of course our ultimate as much as we can, always wanting to upgrade our ultimate as much as we can, followed by our right click, and then our Q. As you can see here, I actually upgraded my Q once just because I really needed it right at the moment there as I killed that Grux, or that Grim in that last engagement there. So I'm actually going to slow this Decker here, secure the kill, enable our Richter to stay face to face with that Decker. That is exactly why you want to use your Q. 6 card power. Let's go back and finish off these cards. So like I said, 6 card power. This advanced chrono is going to be huge for us, and again, this mana will be very useful. I'm actually going to go and get a little bit of health just for now, just so I can stay in these engagements just a little bit longer. 200 health is a fairly significant amount here in the early game. Remember, people are only really hitting on their basic attacks anyways for, you know, anywhere from 50 right now to 60 perhaps, maybe even less. So that is a fairly substantial amount of abilities that we can just mitigate from the field. And here we go, another good showcase of turning the tide there of that battle. I wanted to make sure that that engagement went well. I saw that the Richter wasn't really doing a fantastic job there in that 1v1, so I turned the tide of that battle. With all of this cooldown reduction that we're going to be getting, we're going to make sure that that ultimate of ours becomes a very common ability that we'll be able to use quite rapidly. It's going to be very nice to be able to use our abilities much faster. If you can, you know, do exactly that, if you can secure the kills with your Q, if you can just, you know, use your E, your consecrated ground. Such a kind of a strange sounding ability, because consecrated maybe sounds a little bit like, you know, offensive, but I think that's just from other games, in fact. So what we want to be doing now here in this early game is definitely try to be with our team much more. Our usefulness will certainly be from those shields protecting our allies. So staying with our allies here in the mid game is going to be very. Oh, I didn't quite get the shield off before that Grim ultimate hit me. Now this Grux is going in. This Rampage should interrupt me, but doesn't look like he will. We need to collapse here on this Rampage. See if we can do some damage here. It doesn't look like very nicely done. There we go. I'm going to slow him down. Make sure he does have his leap though, but looks like he actually used it to get away. Almost nice pull there. I'm going to have to use my shields here. Just my right click actually to get away. You are very powerful as Muriel, definitely able to change the course of battles if you can. So this Grux looks like he's going to go and do. I get it. I do. There's the accuracy there. Able to get the pull, and this is a dead Grim. If this Grux would only follow us. What is he doing? Oh, no mana. So he's forced to retreat. We'll go back, spend the 7 card power we have already. So, we'll be able to definitely finish off this Circlet of Health. Very powerful. Now we have all that mana that we need to stay in the game with that little bit of cooldown. But, what if we could even spend our abilities faster? Well, we certainly can. The Pendulum of Lords, one of the best cards here for cooldown reduction, and a little bit of health and mana as well. You can see all of this cooldown reduction here is going to be absolutely huge. 10 plus the 7.5, 17.5% with 5 from the card here. We're going to have basically maximum of 40% here very quickly. So we're going to go ahead, use that 2 card power for that Chrono, and we're on our way to being a very rapid spellcaster. Oh, let's see if I can... Oh, not quite. Oh, very close there. A little bit talking too much, trying to explain everything here in this match for you. Coming in on this Gideon, trying to help him out. Perfectly done, right into his... Oh, I missed my cue, but we still get the kill. And the wonderful thing about Muriel is that if you go back to base, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are out of the fight forever. If you can, try to arrange it that you go back to base, to get your cards, to get mana and health, while your ultimate is up or just about to be up, then you can actually be, on the battlefield very quickly, pretty much all the time. If you are able to, you can almost make it like that you are, on the battlefield almost all the time. I'm going to shield myself, even though that Gideon is going to hurt a lot. I don't have my abilities up for him, though, just yet. This Howitzer is going to hurt a little bit, but that Gideon will be okay, and that is what we care about. We do have quite a bit of health, remember, that we got with that 2-point health upgrade, so I'm feeling okay, and I'm going to just make sure that I get out of here. I'm going to block this Howitzer from hitting that Gideon. It looks like I did. I'm going to have to be careful here, just trying to retreat. Again, I want to be with my allies, and that is because we don't do that much damage. So we're trying to facilitate the damage that our allies do. Let's see if I can actually use my E as a little bit of source of damage here. I'm going to use my right click. I'm going to actually use my ultimate here to protect myself and my Grex here. Will I be able to use my shield in time? I do. And can I get out of here alive? I can. Okay. Oh. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that. A lot of stuff happened there. You can use your ultimate as an escape tool. What I did there was I used it to escape because I noticed that my E was just about to be off cooldown. So I used that as kind of the escape mechanic to go into the air, while also, of course, shielding my Grux. And then when I landed, I was just in time to use my E, keeping me alive. Very close engagement there. A lot of stuff happened there. If you once you get a good sense of the abilities of Muriel, you'll be able to make a lot of stuff happen really maximize the potential of each of her abilities to their maximum effect and make a lot happen. Nine card power, ladies and gentlemen, able to push some lanes, stay with my teammates, and make some things happen. 9 card power, absolutely able here to finish off this Pendulum of Lords. 37.5% cooldown reduction, monstrous amount. We are going to be able to throw at our abilities much, much faster. Now, the next card here, so the next card here is going to be this Elder Mage Amulet. Another top kind of tiered strategy here with Muriel is making her a high cooldown reduction, lots of mana, tanky hero. If she can be a real presence in these engagements, that enables her to do actually a lot of tanking. If she can pull a lot of the kind of attention away from the enemy, then she actually does more than just kind of shield her allies. So this Staff of the Adamant does have some health on it, but it also has some damage. We're not doing that much damage, so we're trying not to focus on that. This is going to be later in the game. So this Elder Mage Amulet is going to provide us with a ton of health. 400 plus this 300, 700 plus the 300, 1,000 health. We are going to be a very tanky, sustained hero in these engagements. Let's see what we can do here in this right lane. Able to help Murdoch just a bit. He was in trouble, wasn't sure if he was going to make it. So let's give him some attack, some movement speed here. Try to keep him up with this rampage. Looks like he's choosing to, no, he's choosing to come in. See, again, with that little bit of health that we already have here, I'm able to be a little bit of a, oh, missed my Q, good pull there. Let's see if we can chase down this rampage, secure this kill. Our Q is just up a little bit. Oh, he ran away, oh, but he chose to come back. There we go, trying to stay with our team, make real good use of our Q, that's slow to secure the kills, obviously the shields to help our allies, and don't underestimate the movement speed bonus from the right click. It's much more powerful than you would imagine. Obviously it has a little bit more usefulness on your allied melee heroes, as obviously they have to stay in range in order to do damage. So on that Grux, for example, he is a fantastic recipient of our right click. With all of this cooldown reduction, we're actually able to be a little bit more of a pest now. I can spend my abilities a little bit more often here, using all of our abilities just to be a bigger pest, be more useful to our team here. Actually being able to be a little bit more aggressive as well. Able to throw out all of our abilities here. See me use my Alacrity there. Give me some room here. I'm going to actually use this offensively, see if I can get this shield. I do. And there we go. I'm going to dive in a little bit here and use my right click Alacrity to get away. This rampage, I need to be a little bit careful of. Ooh, very nice ultimate here on this Gideon. I'll give him a little bit of a shield. Can we burst down this rampage in his ultimate? I don't think so. Very close, but not quite. Rampage, very, very strong here. We're going to have to actually watch out for him, because he will be a very good tank here. Shield my Gideon, give him some movement speed. Oh, but I did during the stun, so not the strongest. Can we secure the kill here on this Rampage? Again, I can afford to be aggressive here. I do have my ultimate as a pseudo escape tool. That Grux is damaged again. Trying to watch my teammates, but obviously been engaging fairly hard here. I do have. Oh, let's be. Can I get the last hit? I do. That's some pretty good gameplay here, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you are enjoying and finding this useful as well. 10 card power, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to skyrocket our tankiness. 3,200 health. That's a really good amount for a tank at this point to have. So that is exactly why we got this card. Now the next card is definitely going to be this Elder Mage Amulet. We want even a little bit more health, but this damage will actually make us a little bit more useful as well. As long as we, just try not to engage too much, we still have to play safe, but will just enable us to be stronger as well. So now it depends on your team, it depends on, how it's going here in the match for you. I'm right now teeter-totting between either, but I actually feel like I'm more useful spending my mana, so I'm going to keep the mana potion and go choose to replace our health potion. 10 card power once again, ladies and gentlemen. Our team really pushed up this right lane there, got their tier 2 towers. Just monster presence in these team fights, able to use that health that we have as a pseudo tank, really getting in between us and our allies, saving them again from further damage, able to shield ourselves when we really know that that damage is coming. Very strong. 10 card power, this greater health, even more health, and some damage, really going to help us when we're focusing down that target hero in these engagements. 3 card power, going to get the very last excuse me, our very last card here. It's going to be this Chronomancer disc with the 3-point mana, just because we want that mana as much as possible. Again, to really trying to mitigate that losing that mana potion here. So that advanced mana are really going to help, along with that energy damage. If you haven't noticed already, ladies and gentlemen, the second card that we got there, that Circlet of Health, gives that aura of healing. You can actually see it in action here around the kind of green, flickering, kind of, there we go, right there. You see that kind of green circling effect? That gives us that, that healing aura that we need. So I'm simply trying to stay with our friendly team here. This Murdoch is actually low in health. He is going back here. Let's see if Murdoch and I can single-handedly take down this Decker and Feng Mao. Decker is a support hero just like Muriel is. So we're pretty much a even fight here. Let's get some shielding going on. Doesn't look like this Feng Mao, though, has noticed that his Decker is in trouble. There he goes, finally able to come back. Let's shield ourselves with this damage here from this Feng Mao. As you can see, look at that, who did barely manage to escape that ultimate from Feng Mao. Now I'm going to be a little bit of a tank here, I should just be kiting him. You here to kite him. Now my Murdoch very nicely pushed him away from me, and we should be able to actually catch up here. Let's see. There we go, and he is done for. Very nice, as you can see, that shield that heals, that versatility of the crowd control that Muriel has with her Q and her right click. Very powerful. We have our ultimate ready once again. Let's go here, save our Richter. There's only the howitzer, so I feel safe doing this. Let's turn the tide here on this howitzer, use my shield to my advantage, trying to make something happen. I don't think I can do enough damage here, especially with the Richter choosing to escape. So let's retreat into the jungle and spend these 4 card power. 4 card power, ladies and gentlemen. A very nice amount here for this extra damage. The last 3 points here going to be used to get even more of that mana that we already have. 1,387 mana, a very nice amount here, able to, can I save my, oh, very closely. Let's see what else I can do here. Very nice. Let's slow down this Feng Mao, try to stay in our way. Oh, but they're going after the Murdoch. Oh, my right click saves him. Let's see if I can I get in between here? All of this damage. I need to slow him down. I need to heal. Sorry, come on, Murdoch, go away. Run. There we go. Okay. Oh, what are you doing? Try to block here. Where's my E? There's a stun. Murdoch, don't die. When people don't... No, Murdoch! There's a heal, there's a shield. Oh, very, very close. Always very stressful when somebody chooses to stay in the fight when they're on the brink of death and you're trying to keep them alive. So let's go over here with our Grex. See if we can push this lane. Maybe even get an inhibitor. 3 card power, ladies and gentlemen. The last card power that we get. To max out at 60 card power. Going to be able to get that advanced mana. I have to actually just go back now because we actually ran out of mana. So that extra 225 mana will really, really, really be powerful here, enabling us to stay in these engagements even longer. So it looks like the enemies managed to actually do a suicide mission into one of our inhibitors, destroyed that inhibitor, and we will have a tough time holding off all of these super minions now. So at this point, we are an absolute presence in these team fights, able to secure a lot of these kills with our Q, able to use the crowd control from our Q, the movement speed on our right click to really increase speed of our allies. Somebody like this Grux here, very, very powerful. So there you guys have it. You got some great examples of gameplay. One thing that you can do, ladies and gentlemen, is once you have the enemy inhibitors down, you can actually replace this Lord's Ward. Now, the advanced chrono, that 12.5% on this card is very, very powerful. But if you're feeling like your team perhaps needs more damage, if you feel like you are happy with how fast you are casting your spells and your Q and your right click, you can certainly replace this Lord's Ward with this Chronomancer disc. Gives you a little bit. It gives you the same amount of mana, but it gives you a little bit of more energy damage, and actually I guess it gives you more mana because there's that mana upgrade as well. It gives you way more damage since there's that energy damage on it and 2 upgrades, but it also gives it a 5% cooldown, so really you're only losing 10% cooldown reduction. I don't think that that is worth it, but it depends on the situation. That is always available to you. You can replace your Lord's Ward with your Chronomancer disc. So once more, ladies and gentlemen, here is the build. You start off with the health and mana potion and the Scout's Ward. Vision is highly, highly underrated. If you don't think too highly of it, rethink your approach to it. Vision is everything. If you can see an enemy coming that would have otherwise killed you, you're basically saving yourself, saving a life, and that adds up over time, has an unbelievable effect on the game. Vision is very important. The very first card that you get is the Lord's Ward here to replace that Scout's Ward. That advanced chrono on the card and that health, really, really helpful in the early game. You don't upgrade this, however, you go straight into the Circlet of Health because casters have issues with mana in the early game, especially as Muriel, you're trying to stay with your teammates, trying to keep them alive and facilitate them in doing the damage and securing the kills. So this mana is very important. Now, depending on your game, you can upgrade the advanced mana or the normal 2-point manas. You can go any number of mana, and this chrono here on the Lord's Ward, balancing out these 2 cards. They don't have fully upgraded bonuses, so it's not that big of a deal. I would, however, recommend getting at least the 1 2-point mana, of course, or the 3-point advanced mana or the 2-point. So either spending 3 just on the advanced mana or 4 on the mana. It's up to you. And then once you have a good amount of mana, then you can perhaps go here to Lord's Ward, do the advanced chrono and chrono. That 200 health, however, don't underestimate that. 200 health in the early game is a lot. So you can certainly get this health after you get a little bit of mana, and then go into the chrono, and then maybe come back here for the last mana card. After that, you go immediately into the Pendulum of Lords. That chrono is the most powerful thing on Muriel, besides that tanky side of her gameplay. Finish this off here for that crazy amount of cooldown reduction. Then you can go into the Elder Mage Amulet or the Staff of the Adamant if you have a very strong front line with a lot of, maybe you even have 2 tanks and another melee hero. If you have a very strong front line and you don't necessarily need that health, you can here go for the Staff of the Adamant, or even crazier, go for the Chronomancer Disc. But I certainly recommend going either for the Elder Mage Amulet for sure, or the Staff of the Adamant. So you get either the Staff of the Adamant or the Elder Mage Amulet, and then you finish it off with this Chronomancer Disc here with that 3-point mana. Of course, once you have an inhibitor or 2 down from the enemy team, then you can certainly replace your Lord's Ward with the Chronomancer Disc if you're really feeling like you don't necessarily need that cooldown reduction. There you guys have it. There is my starter deck build guide. Hopefully you found it useful, and hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay. Please like the video if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, please share it with the community, and of course, subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, please subscribe, because I want to do it for you again in the future. Social media stuff is coming up on the next screen, so please do all of that, and of course, until next time, take care.